Hey everyone, and welcome to Reviews of Ryan. So today I'm going to be doing part 2 of my movie collection. Now in part 1 we did all my kids movies, and that was 33 pages, and it was 147 movies total. So now we're going to go into this bigger binder right here, which is pretty thick. It has 66 pages, so I'm going to split this up into 3 different parts, and it's going to be 22 pages on each video, and this is all a bunch of random different movies of different genres, so we'll go through them and I'll talk a little bit about them. I will also link part 1 down below if you did miss it to check it out, and let me know what you guys think about some of the movies I have, and let me know some of your favorites. But now without further ado, let's get into part 2 with this movie collection. All right, starting off with page 1, we have Bruno, a comedy movie with Sacha Baron Cohen. We have Here Comes the Boom with Kevin James. Hall Pass, that is one of my favorite comedy movies with Owen Wilson. Basically, they get a week off from marriage and they can cheat and do whatever they want and have no consequences. You have The Sitter with Jonah Hill. We got The Big Wedding with Amanda Seyfried. If you guys missed in part 1, I said that Amanda Seyfried is one of my favorite actresses. I really like her, and I get any movie that she's pretty much in. And then we have The Town, which is a really good movie. I definitely need to get that on 4K and upgrade at some point. We have Good Luck Chuck. I always did really like that movie. It's really funny, and it's just one of those films that just really shows, like, you know, it's more than just having, you know, hookups and stuff. Like, you actually have to find somebody to love and stuff. So I really do like that movie. And then you have Journey to the Center of the Earth with Brendan Fraser. I really wish that he was in movies. I know he has a new movie coming out called The Whale. I'm really excited to watch that. You have Journey to Mysterious Island. That is with Dwayne Johnson. You have, this is a actual 4-pack that I bought, and it has Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox Story, which is absolutely hilarious movie. You have The Brothers Solomon. I've actually never watched that movie. You have Fired Up. That is a cheerleading movie about these guys that actually quit a football team and they actually go and actually be cheerleaders, and they basically try to fool these girls and basically try to hook up with them. It was kind of an underrated comedy, I think. And then you have Balls Out, Gary the Tennis Coach. I've never watched that, and I don't really know anything about what it's about, actually. And then we have Couples Retreat. That is a romantic comedy. You have Lockout, Dude, Where's My Car? I watched this a lot growing up. I think this is one of Ashton Kutcher's best films. I know he's not really in a lot of films, but I always really did like this one. It's kind of goofy and a little bit all over the place. And you have Varsity Blues. That is a really good football movie. I always really liked that movie growing up. And then you have Horrible Bosses and Horrible Bosses 2. The Internship, I really do like that one with Vince Vaughn and Owen Wilson. They have great chemistry in that one, and it's pretty funny. You have She's Out of My League, another comedy film that I really did enjoy. I think Jay Birchall's in that. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's in that film, and he does a really good job, and he's this nerdy guy that basically gets a hot girl, and he basically thinks that he can't, you know, maintain a relationship with this hot girl. And then we have We're the Millers. That is one of my favorite comedies ever. I really do like the fact that, you know, they go down into Mexico and they're smuggling all these drugs. And it's just a really funny movie. You have The Duff. That was a movie that wasn't really popular. You have Pitch Perfect. Now, this is the only one I like out of the 3. I don't own the other 2. I did buy the 3rd movie at a Dollar Tree, and I actually sold it off. I honestly really hated that movie. So I actually only own the first one. We have Dinner for Schmucks, and that one has Steve Carell in it. I always have enjoyed that movie as well. Basically, he is kind of a nerdy guy. He basically gets tricked into different things, and it's just a little life lesson that, you know, you shouldn't be bullying, like, nerdy type of people and taking advantage of them. And then we have Profile. That was a movie, I believe that was last year, I want to say, and that was I think you want to call it like a found footage kind of movie. That was a really good movie, actually. I did a review on that. And then we have Proud Mary. That is a movie I haven't watched in a while. We have Grown Ups. I only like the first one. I don't own the second one. I think it's terrible. We have Chloe. That's another Amanda Seyfried movie. We have Spider-Man. I think that's the ones with Tom Holland, I believe. That's the first one. And then Spider-Man Far From Home. We have Edward Scissorhands. Fun fact, that was actually filmed in Jacksonville, Florida, where I used to live. So some of the scenes are actually filmed there. And then you have The Way Back. This is a actual basketball movie with Ben Affleck about him being a drunk and basically trying to actually manage a team. And then you have the original Spider-Mans. You have Spider-Man 1, Spider-Man 2, and Spider-Man 3. Now, I know I could probably upgrade to 4K for these, but I actually don't like the artwork for the 4Ks, and I don't like how they actually stack the discs for the 4K, so I'm just going to stick with the Blu-rays. I have Titanic on DVD. I eventually want to upgrade to that when they go to 4K. I think that is one of the movies that, even though it's 3 hours long, I never get tired of it or get bored during watching that. Some of those 3-hour movies, they're a little bit lengthy and they get a little bit bored at parts. But that movie, I just really love it because it's a history type thing. And then you have 21 Bridges. That was Chadwick Boseman's last movie. You have The Proposal. Easy A, I think that was the first movie that I actually watched Emma Stone in. You have Promising Young Woman. I actually have the poster in the garage. It's a very interesting movie for sure, and really an interesting ending at that. Jingle All the Way. This is a classic Christmas movie. I always really like watching this around Christmas time. You have Crisis. That was a movie, I believe I watched that last year, maybe in 2020. I can't remember now. But I did do a review on it, and it's basically about, drug smuggling and stuff and how drugs are a big problem in the world. Employee of the Month. Now, that was a movie that I have watched a lot, mainly because I used to be in retail, so I really like that it takes place in retail, and I can really relate to it. And that really kind of relates to another show that I actually do watch from time to time called Superstore. I really like shows like that, like in retail, because I can really relate to it. Then you have Life as We Know It and the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Now, this movie is really something that my wife really likes. It's not really something that I really watch. You have the Goldfinch. I think that's a really underrated movie. It has a little bit of problems, but I really do like it. I don't think a lot of people really watch that movie. Fred Claus, a great movie to watch during Christmas. You have Charming the Hearts of Men. This is a movie more so in the historical times, back in the 60s. The Maze Runner and The Marksman. Marksman, that's another Liam Neeson movie. It's kind of an movie. And Maze Runner, The Scorch Trials. I don't have the third movie. I don't really like the third movie, so probably won't be purchasing that. You have Eagle Eye. I haven't watched that in a while with Shia LaBeouf. Deadpool, that's one of my wife's favorite movies. Deadpool 2. And I want to say, I'm trying to think, this is Hairspray, that's right. Hairspray, I got this from my brother-in-law, and I watched it probably about 6 months ago or so. It wasn't too bad of a musical. And then you also have a second disc of Deadpool 2. And then you have Sucker Punch. I hope they make this in a 4K at some point. It's one of my favorite movies from the Snyder universe, and I just really do like how they really played this movie out. I know some people don't really like this movie, but for some reason it just worked for me. I really like Emily Browning in it. And then we have Flag Day. I reviewed that on my channel about a year ago. In Time, it's another Amanda Seyfried movie, action movie. Bad Teacher, a good comedy movie with Cameron Diaz. Mean Girls, one of my favorite, probably, I guess, girly movies you want to say. It's got Amanda Seyfried in it. I think that's the first movie I watched her in. Les Miserables has another, it's a musical, and it has Amanda Seyfried as well. Ride Along and Ride Along 2, probably my favorites of the Kevin Hart movies. You got Passengers, a space movie. Why Him with James Franco. Signs, a really classic M. Night Shyamalan movie. Yellow Rose, a really actual small movie that was in theaters more so during COVID, and it's really about deportation and just like the different things with the border and just people not having papers and stuff. It's a very interesting movie. And then we have Gone, another, this is like a suspense kind of movie that is with Amanda Seyfried. You have Blockers, a comedy movie with John Cena. Dear John, a romantic kind of movie. The Other Woman, I actually watched this with my dad in the theater. It's kind of weird, I guess, watching, like, because I feel like this is kind of a girly kind of movie. This is about a bunch of girls that they find out, like, a guy is actually dating them all, and so they try to get their revenge on him. Z, this is a Shudder movie. Got that from Dollar Tree. Sorty Row, that's a slasher movie. I always really enjoy that movie. You know, it has its problems, but you know, it is what it is. We have 30 Days of the Night, probably my favorite vampire movie ever. I'm still waiting for one to top it. Jacob's Wife, that is also a vampire movie as well and has a really dark comedy edge to it. The Empty Man, so this movie you can't actually buy in stores. It doesn't really have an actual physical copy. The Empty Man, it was released in theaters and nobody really saw it. I actually bought this movie from Redbox, and it's a DVD. I think I got it for like $4 or $5. You can't actually get a physical copy other than Redbox if they have it. They have Devil's Due and The Strangers, another one of my favorite horror films. Willy's Wonderland, this movie is really off the wall. I think Nicolas Cage, this is probably his easiest paycheck, as he doesn't have one line in this movie. Silent Hill Revelation, I actually like this more than the first one. I actually don't own the first one. And Mama, this is another, I think, underrated movie as well. Drag Me to Hell, one of my favorites. If they ever make this in 4K, I will definitely upgrade. Sleepy Hollow, probably one of my favorite Johnny Depp movies. If they ever put this in 4K, I will definitely buy that as well. And this will be the last page for this part, but we have Red Riding Hood, basically a twist on the Red Riding Hood tale with Amanda Seyfried. The Forest, that is a horror movie. The Possession, that is a horror movie as well. And then The Witch will end on, which is at the top of my list on A24. And I probably should upgrade that to 4K, but I think I got this for like $5 for Blu-ray, and it looks pretty good in Blu-ray. It's not too bad. But those are all my movies for part 2. Stick around for part 3. And thank you guys for watching this movie collection. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys on my next video.